All right, class. Welcome to the mocking game, where everyone talks the same. So we have here up on the screen, Benson and Stabler have 3 perfect culprits. Law and Order SVU, 470K subscribers. The link is youtube.com/watch?V as in Victor =Z CP capital T lowercase c capital H capital L lowercase q capital N lowercase w 0. All right, so the goal of what we're doing here in the mocking game, where everyone talks the same, is to get down the role by role play, watching videos of actors creating a scenario based on what could be a true story or not. So this is nonfiction. Wait a second. No, this is fiction here, potentially. And then we're also going to do it with videos like Live PD, Cops, First 48, whatever you want to do, where it actually is nonfiction. It is actually streaming live. Okay, so while these characters and the other characters who are actually not playing the role are going through their motion, I'm going to be doing the same thing. Okay, you're going to be doing the same thing. In this scene, though, as it begins on a scene of a crime, you have the medical examiner right here, or the crime scene investigator, pardon me. You have other officers that are part of the crime scene unit talking to these detectives over here who are the first responders, or just the first law enforcement officers to arrive on the scene of the crime, and Benson and Stabler, who arrive a long time when these guys arrive to explain to the crime scene unit. So I'm going to mostly be focused on her, because she is the one who, after gathering all this information with the crime scene unit, go back to the lab. And that's where you have that kind of a forensics officer, somebody who works in the lab who is not here. This is the most elite, because wherever you step, wherever you breathe, you could step on evidence, etc. You could alter, okay, what actually doesn't look like, but what actually happened based on evidence that could be on the ground, in the trees, here, there, everywhere, even on the clothes of one of these officers. And then you have the forensics officers who work in the lab, wear the lab coats. And then finally, you have, someone who would work in a coroner's office. And, if you're starting out with forensics, you might actually start there and end up doing something like this. You rarely would start here where she is, on bended knee, and go the other way backwards. Okay? So what she's doing right here is most elite. Second in the laboratory is second to most elite. And then in the coroner's office, it's not that it's the least elite, it's the least complex, because if you ask me, most of the work is already done. You're already in the coroner's office, it's mostly already done. I could be wrong. Let's get educated, let's find out. This is the mocking game, where everyone talks the same, walks the same.
outcry witness says she was raped. No fluids, but I'll run a kit.
She's pretty bruised up. What a fight.
No scleral petechiae, so we can rule out strangulation.
So we can rule out strangulation.
She was gasping for breath.
Some scratches, but no bruising on her throat and no cervical damage.
No broken neck.
Definitely.
What do you think?
Woman goes for a walk in the park with her dog.
Rewind it again.
Her jumps out of the bushes and attacks. She has a coronary.
Our outcry witness says she was raped.
No fluids, but I'll run a kit.
She's pretty bruised up. What a fight.
No scleral petechiae, so we can rule out strangulation.
The kids who found her said she was gasping for breath.
Some scratches, but no bruising on her throat and no cervical damage.
No broken neck.
Definitely.
What do you think?
Woman goes for a walk in the park with her dog. Her jumps out of the bushes and attacks. She has a coronary.
She has a coronary. Was she implying heart attack? Or was she just implying coronary?
Literally scared to death.
So in the first scene, from what I gather, it looks like there's a woman that potentially could have been raped or sexually assaulted who is deceased, but there's no evidence left from whoever the culprit may be, the suspect, that's leading to where they may be prior to fleeing the scene of the crime. Okay? They're not actually, from what it seems like, quite sure if, like, she had a heart attack and died, like what was the actual cause of death, because in the beginning it said there's no strangulation. So another question I want to know is, why did they use the word strangulation and asphyxiation wasn't? Okay, as we continue on.
Detective Stabler. Glenn Shields. Hi. It's my wife, Naomi.
So, one of the main reasons why I'm led to contrast between Law and Order and Live PD and Cops and other shows like this is, and something we're gonna really look for is, so this scene, there is no forensics officers. There's just the two lead detectives, Benson and Stabler. But periodically throughout the show, you do see them again corresponding with the lady who's the medical examiner or the lead criminal scene investigator, and her other counterparts who she corresponds with from the laboratory. And you do see correspondence with coroners in a coroner's office. I don't watch this show a lot, but that much I'm led to believe. Now you watch Live PD, what you see is responders responding to a crime that's happening in real time. And you don't really see much of what forensics officers do. Because as soon as the forensics officer showed up, the person is deceased. The show must go on because Live PD Cops is more so focused on responders. Law and Order is more so focused also on what happens behind the scenes. How does this get resolved? How does this lead to the courtroom where the suspect is charged with the crime, and hopefully it's the actual culprit and not just the suspect who is taken in by mistaken identity. So how it all converges there. So we need all of this for our full comprehension. So when we're on the job, we don't just think like a cop who's one-dimensional thinker. we act like somebody, we don't act, we're able to fill the actual shoe of what the duty calls for. Okay, forensic science, that's it right there. That's the whole kit and caboodle. That's everything. Without forensic science, there is no, the prosecution can't even begin. Let's continue on. I want you to let me know whenever you see someone who is correspondence with the forensics officer that you've seen in the first scene, the crime scene investigator, the lead crime scene investigator. Who's number 2 in your eyes whenever it goes to the lab part or whenever you see her again? Let me know when you see her again and what she does next and how that pertains to what we're learning in Professor Roderick Bates' class.
I was at rehearsal with Wesley when you called.
You a dancer also? No, they're the artistic ones. I'm just a computer nerd.
Okay, so before we even get into that, what's Benson's or Stabler, whoever the guy's name? I don't even know if that's Benson. No, that's Stabler. So what is Stabler's investigative style? The way he's asking questions, and who is the suspect in this scene right here? We're gonna go with this guy, but maybe it could be both of them, and he's just beginning with asking him. It could be all 3 of them.
Right now, we don't know. Our medical examiner seems to think she might have had a heart attack.
Okay, right now we don't know. Our medical examiner seems to think that it may have been a heart attack. Is this normal for a detective to relay this kind of information to a potential suspect? Are they even suspects to begin with, or are these correspondents? Where do you begin?
Lost his wife. You've lost your mind if you think he had anything to do with this senseless tragedy. If you build anything resembling a case, give me a call. In the meantime, give this grieving husband time to mourn.
So who is that? Is that the defense lawyer? Is that the DA? Who is that? Where do we go from here?
Well, what's up?
Campus knows we have no evidence. We need the mistress. What's Mason's alibi for the time of the murder?
Said he was at rehearsal all night.
Well, let's check that with members of the dance company. I already met one of them. The other chief.
That's a neat trick.
I built a system for keyless entry. I keep an RFID chip in my wallet.
How does it work?
Radio frequency identification.
One of my husband's hobbies. Ask him about his robot. Not made. Pretty soon I'll be spending all day at the spa.
Honey, better get this stuff in the kitchen. Ice cream?
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Does anybody remember that guy from Step by Step? That's the biological dad from Step by Step.
Naomi's exaggerating. It's not a robot. It's just a voice-activated vacuum cleaner. You build gadgets, huh? What's Wesley Mason do for fun? What do you mean? Well, I'm hearing about this affair. Who told you that? Okay, so you knew about it. No. Well, come on, Danielle was your friend. Just tell me the truth.
Danielle's talk screen came back positive.
Okay, so here we are. 2 minutes and 28 seconds into the video, we see the lead crime scene investigator again. Okay, so we're gonna go to how the scene begins by rewinding it a little bit.
Danielle's talk screen came back positive.
Then it was quick. Just tell me the truth.
Danielle's talk screen came back positive.
Then it was.
Danielle's toxine came back positive. So some kind of toxogens or some kind of toxins were found on her or in her remains. Toxins, drugs, or she came back. There's a lead now.
It's clean.
For the standard drugs, I ran a more comprehensive test.
Okay, standard drugs. She ran a more comprehensive test, so potentially prescription. Maybe she's prescribed medication by a doctor.
She was poisoned.
I guess not. She was poisoned. But standard drugs. So if she had been taking them, then she would be prescribed by a doctor. But she was poisoned, but they were standard drugs. So we're not looking at something like heroin, crack, acid, any of those things. Meth. We're more so whatever she says next.
With what?
A lethal dose of a chemical called dieldrin.
Dieldrin.
It's banned in the U.S.
Was it put in her coffee?
No. Wearing protective gloves, he probably rubbed it on her skin. Here. I missed the dieldrin irritation because it was covered by a bruise. The poison causes bruising? No, Doc.
Okay, so hold on. I gotta rewind that because that's important.
I missed the dieldrin irritation because it was covered by...
Okay, so dieldrin. Dieldrin. Look that up. So it looks to be like it's, she has a bruise on the arm where it looks like it could have been rubbed on. She could be mistaken. Let's see where she takes us from here.
A bruise. The poison causes bruising? No, dieldrin induces violent seizures, which could explain why your witness thought Danielle was nodding yes to being raped.
And why her clothes got ripped up.
Can you tell when she was poisoned? No more than 30 minutes before she collapsed.
I'd never hurt my wife.
You mean you wouldn't throw her down the stairs and break her arm? She's smarter than that.
He's not smart enough to get rid of these. Neoprene gloves.
Dieldrin? That's a line. I've never seen that before. Why are you harassing me?
Hello, my love. Sorry I'm late. I can't have this. Nan? Or should we call you Jen? Wesley didn't kill Danielle. You two were doing the mattress mom move. You're covering for him. He's not a murderer, and you're not a liar. Are you, Jen? What's with the code name? Wesley used it when he was talking to my husband. He got off on telling Glenn about her sex life. He asked him to stop.
I did not
What did you do?
own the IP in this recording. Do not monetize. This is for study purposes only.
Judge, you don't know the first thing about me. Oh, I know you've been lying to us for 3 days. About an affair, not a murder. They're connected. Your boyfriend's wife is dead. I was with him in his office when she died. He couldn't have done it. Well, there's only one possible explanation. That you and Wesley killed her together.
You got the dots, but you can't connect them.
Sure.
Yo, we'll be back after this. This is today's sesh. My time in this podcast little section of the library is just about up. Join me next time and think like a cop.